Hello and welcome to another guide. This time I'm not using the avatar of the character I'm gonna do the guide because it doesn't have one. So yeah, this time is about one of the new tanks in the game. Is uh, Hamusuke Mark Defense type or Hamusuke, however it is spelled, is this one. And as you can see, I already have the character upgraded to a certain degree, so I can assure you that I have played with the character and I know how to play this character, even when the stats are not the best because it's not one of my main characters to play with. But yeah, let's start with the basic stuff about the character, then the skills, and at the end the relics, as well as the recommended themes for the character. But because that character screams a lot, I'm gonna lower the voice of, of the characters of the game, not mine. Now, some of the basic stuff is the accessory levels. The accessory upgrades always tells you what are some of the best things to upgrade for the character. In this case, at tier 3 we get 5% reduction to damage over time. At tier 6 we get 10% more health points, and tier 9 10% more physical defense. And as we see here, the best attributes of this character are physical defense and speed, then health points and magical defense, and the worst attribute of the basic ones is the attack, which makes sense because this character is supposed to be a tank, not a damage dealer. But still, this is one of the characters that deal uh, the most amount of damage between the tanks in the game. So, uh, as well, the arc light. Let's take a look at that. It upgrades the HP, the attack in flat amounts, and defense in certain percentage. As you can see, I already have the arc light 4 stars. I got it like 1 or 2 stars the first time the character was up, and when the character banner returned, I got like another 2 stars, and I think one was by mistake or luck. Well, as we can see, the exclusive effect of the arc light in the character is that increases the physical defense by 24% in the case of 4 stars, and when taking skill damage, deals true damage to the target equal to 48% physical defense. Uh, of course, the in the 24% increased physical defense and the 40% physical defense that is dealt as true damage to the enemy changes depending of the amount of stars you have. The more stars you have, the more that percentage is, as well as the normal increase in the defense that is part of the 3 basic stats of the arc light. I will say this is a good arc light. Try to get it if you can when the banner is up and all of that, because it allows you to have a tank that is passively doing more and more damage to the enemy, because the role of the tank is to be the wall that is between your damage dealers and all of the enemy attacks. So every time that your tank is damaged by something like an area of effect skill or or any amount of skill, even the single target ones, this arc light allows to deal a little bit of damage to the enemy without doing things like a counter attack or waiting for your turn so you can deal damage back to the enemy, things like that. Uh, and you will see later on the video about the compositions of this character and the teams to play with. I was able to get a match where a Momon throws an ultimate to this tank, and thanks to the arc light, the physical defense that is deal as true damage to the enemy was able to lower like 40% of Momon total HP, just because Momon decided to ult this character. So yeah, this is one of the best arc lights for a tank. because of the exclusive effect. The general effect, not really, but the exclusive, yeah, it is. I recommend it, yeah, get it. Now, the character and the stars, you will get it by default at 3 stars once you get the character. The upgrade at level 4, well, not level, but at the 4th star, is very good because it makes the character immune to the defense down status and the damage over time. Uh, the defense down is normal status effect, is not like a broken status effect something. It's what Valkyrie Shelter does with her second skill. It lowers around like 30% the defense of the target, and that's all. And here we can see that it's gonna make the character immune to damage over time. That means that once this character is 4 stars, it's gonna be immune to things like bleed. For example, this Lupus Regina is heavily countered by that by this version of Hamusuke, because all of her bleed damage cannot do a single thing against this tank. Or for example, Entoma. This Entoma is able to put bleed on a single target, but is also able to put shock on everyone on the enemy team. And if you have her with something like the Desolation set, like I have, she's able to put burn as well. And all of those effects, burn, shock, and bleed, are the damage over time ways of damaging the enemy. That is exactly what this character is immune at 4 stars. So yeah, I would recommend at least the character at 4 stars. At least. 5 stars, we see that is an ultimate upgrade. It's not really a big power spike, but I would say every upgrade on this character of the stars, of course, every star upgrade is very good. Like I have the character only 5 stars, but if I could, if the banner was up, I will be able to get it to 6 stars. I will be throwing my gems to get it to 6 stars. Now the skills. The basic attack. I told you, now you're almost never gonna be using the basic attack of this character unless you want to put the crit down debuff. Only on that scenario. Uh, the basic attack is used 50% of her attack and 70% of her physical defense is dealt as damage to the enemy, and has a 100% basic chance to inflict crit down on the target for 2 rounds. Crit down lowers the critical chance of the enemy by 20%. Is not bad at all, honestly. And as we see, this means that the character's stats scale more with the defense than the attack, even for the attacks. Then I'm gonna go directly to the second skill, the laser beam. Deals physical damage equal to 60% of her attack, plus 60% of her physical defense. This is quite even between attack and defense. Before hitting, this is some, I will say, broken part. Before hitting, has a 100% basic chance to dispel 4 buffs from the target and reduces their turn meter by 30%. That is basically what Valkyrie Shelter was able to do at 5 stars as one of the first tanks in the game. This Shelter is the one I mean. With her second skill, the Purifying Javelin, she does X amount of damage, and so, with hitting granted a 100% fixed chance to inflict defense down. That is what I told you earlier that it was, and reduces the target turn meter 20% upon hitting. Originally it was at 30%, and then she got nerfed alongside some of the original starting characters of the game. She got nerfed, it was at 30%. But this is what she did only with Stars upgrade. And now this character does almost the same, but it does even more. So it reduces the turn meter of the target by 30%. So that character gets their turn even slower than usual, and dispels 4 buffs if you are successful with the basic chance. 4. That's a lot. The majority of characters dispel 1 or 2 buff, and this character is 4. And that is not the skill. When it's maxed, it also grants a 100% basic chance to inflict stun on the target for 1 round. That means that you're gonna basically take away the turn for that character. Like, I don't want this healer to be able to have a turn when the enemy turn comes. Alright, I'm gonna stun it, and it's not gonna be able to do anything unless it's Anniversary Albedo that can purify herself. Unless it's her, the one that you're stunning, it's already let's say damaged. I was gonna say a bad word, but no. Then I'm gonna go to the passive, the adaptive armor. When this character is active on the field, that means when this character is alive, all allies, excluding herself, will gain a physical defense boost equal to 30% of her physical defense at the start of the battle. That means that uh, she has the Sterling set effect of the relics. The Sterling set gives everyone on the team of that character a bonus based on certain percentage of the user defense. This is the same. She's gonna give more physical defense to everyone on her team based on her own defense. So yeah, another cue of what you should upgrade on her. The more defense, the better on this character. Also, when an ally's damage skill is used, that means when someone uses a skill that is meant to do damage. Give me a moment. Sorry for the interruption there. I was having some distractions. Back to this. The adaptive armor in the second part. When an ally damage skill is used, that means when the ally uses a skill that is meant to do damage as their main focus, like for example, um, SSR Entoma first, second, or third skill, like all of her skills. That means not skills like, for example, Anniversary of the Ultimate. That yes, those it deals damage to the enemy, but the main focus of the skill is giving buffs and purifying some ally. So it has to be a skill that you directly point to the enemy. Those are the skills that this skill refers. But well, when that kind of skill is used, it deals additional true damage equal to 75% of her physical defense. True damage, the game doesn't tell you right here, but what it usually does, the true damage, is that it directly skips all the enemy defense. Like, I have uh, 10,000 HP and 2,000 defense. Well, if someone attacks me with true damage, that means that my defense is gonna stay intact, and my defense is not gonna lower the amount of damage that I'm gonna receive, because it's gonna hit my health bar directly. So my defense is like useless against true damage. That is true damage. Also, more of the passive. When she hits a target with defense down, the defense down duration extends by 1 round. So that means that as long as you constantly hit the same enemy with defense down, you can infinitely prolong it unless the enemy purifies that status effect from itself or a healer does the same. So you can constantly keep defense down on someone. And even more upgrades to this character. The star effect is that she is gonna be immune to defense down and damage over time. Uh, that is good because that means that this character, just because of the passive, can be a direct counter to all the bleed teams, all the shock teams, and all the burn teams to a certain degree. Not completely, because as we can know, or as we can think, not all the characters are gonna do the same skill to put the status effect. Like for example, uh, we have in the bleed team someone like Warrior Kokiotus, the normal one, and then we have someone, for example, like the Vampire Bride. The Vampire Bride she needs to do uh, area of effect damage on her ultimate to be able to put bleed on the enemy, and then be able to make the bleed proc to heal her team and so. But Cocutus is able to do either area of effect damage to put bleed with his ultimate, or single target damage with his second skill to put bleed. This character only counters in the field characters that do single target attacks, like second skill Kokyotos, because when this character uses the ultimate, it puts shield wall on, makes the enemies attack him. Well, attack her. Sorry, unless they have area of effect skills. So yeah, it's gonna be very useful to counter single target enemies that put damage over time, but uh, this character cannot counter, for example, burn team with normal albedo and the merge, because they do damage with their ultimates in a way that hits everyone on the enemy team. So yeah, she's gonna be able to be immune to burn, but it's not gonna be able to protect her allies. So take that into consideration. She's a way to counter those kind of teams, but it's not a absolute counter that you will rely on this character and say, I put it on the team, I win against the team. No. Um, one more thing about the passive. If the target is in the defense down state, her effects nullify the target effect resistance. That means that if you manage to put defense down an enemy and then you use the laser beam, for example, the laser beam have 100% basic chance to inflict stun. Yes, 100% basic chance usually means that it's gonna be applied. Like, it's 80% of the cases you're gonna stun someone if you have 100% basic chance of doing the stun. But basic chance can be countered by effect resistance. So if someone has a character with, let's say, 60% effect resistance, and then they have Lupus Regina on the team, the healer one, like for example, let me show you which stats. My Albedo. Like, my Albedo has 60% effect resistance. That means that she is very, very resistant to any kind of debuff. But let's say we have her and this Lupus Regina on the same team. Also her, look at that, 73% effect resistance. Then we go here to look at certain upgrade. When she has 6 stars, her ultimate gets a specific upgrade that grants effect resistance boost to the targets for 2 rounds. That is an extra 45% effect resistance. So, my Albedo, for example, 60% effect resistance on her stats, plus this extra 45 is over 100. The same with this Lupus Regina, 73 plus the 45% is over 100. Those kind of characters can resist the stuns or the attacks or debuff that have 100% basic chance. So that's why you have to know when or where or who are you gonna attack. Like, if you know or you have the idea that that specific target that you want to stun has a lot of effect resistance, try to do this effect first. Try to put the defense down and then the stun, so the stun can nullify directly all the effect resistance. And if the enemy doesn't have any effect resistance, then your 100% basic chance of stunning the enemy is gonna be successful no matter what, then, unless the enemy has an invulnerability. So that's a kind of like a little bit of a game changer, because you can nullify the enemies effect resistance. Also, at 6 stars, it gets a massive upgrade that when an ally takes damage, Hamusuke forcibly blocks the damage equal to 100% of physical defense. If the target is in the physical defense down state, that means the debuff, the debuff that I already explained, the blocked damage doubles up to 4 times per round per ally. Sounds kind of complicated. What it means is that everyone has kind of like an invisible Platinum Dragon Lord ultimate. Like, you will see your allies standing there, there is no shield, and no barrier is gonna appear, nothing. But when the enemy tries to do damage to them, all the damage is gonna appear like 0, 0, 0. The numbers are gonna tell 0 at 6 stars. Because as long as the enemy damage doesn't surpass the defense of this character, the defense of Hamusuke or Hamusuke, as long as the damage does not exceed her defense, your allies are gonna be basically protected. They're not gonna receive any damage. Just like the PDL barrier. The PDL barrier on the ultimate protects everyone, and as long as the damage that the enemy is doing doesn't surpass the amount of damage that the barrier can withstand, no one on your team is gonna get hurt. This is the same, but more broken. So yeah, at 6 stars, everyone is protected by her defense. As long as the enemy doesn't have enough damage to overwhelm this character defense, everyone is protected. Now the ultimate, the boom cannon. She does damage equal to 40% of her attack plus 40% of her physical defense. It's an area of effect skill, so that means that attacks everyone on the enemy team. Everyone gets hurt by this. Hitting grants a 100% basic chance to dispel 2 buffs from the target. That means that you can take away 4 of the enemy buffs with the laser beam and then 2 with the boom cannon. A total of 6 that you can take away from the enemy. Also, grants a 100% fixed chance to inflict high tier defense down on all the targets for 2 rounds. High tier defense down is that decreases the enemy physical defense by 40%. So you're taking away 40% of the enemy defense. That's a lot. Also, this ultimate, after being used, grants 4 stacks of shield wall and high tier damage taken down for 2 rounds. High tier damage taken down is a buff that decreases the damage taken by 30%. That means that she is gonna take 30% less damage than normally. It's a defense boost technically. And shield wall is a debuff on the enemies that forces them to target the character with shield wall when they first attack. This can be bypassed if the enemy has area of effect skills, like this one, for example, or if they are not gonna attack, like if they want to throw a shield or a heal, they can bypass the shield wall. But if they have a single target attack, like for example, Momon skills, like the basic second and ultimate skill of Momon, all of those get countered by shield wall because they will have to throw them to this character instead of anyone else on your team. 2 more points after using the skill grants all grants all allies high tier defense boost for 2 rounds. That is, above that increases the defense by 40%. And when she has shield wall, when she loses the shield wall, additionally fires the laser beam on the enemy with the highest attack. That means that when shield wall ends the 4 stacks, that means when she gets attacked 4 times by the enemies, it could also be also the area of effect attacks like Albedo ultimate can consume all the shield wall effects, so she doesn't need to be hit 4 different turns for the enemy. It can be in 1 or 2 even. When the shield wall ends, she is gonna throw the second skill, the laser beam, to the enemy with the highest attack. That means that this character, in short, with the ultimate, it's gonna decrease everyone on the enemy team defense by 40%. It's gonna increase the defense 40% for all of her allies, and she's gonna take 30% less damage than usual. And she's also gonna she's gonna force the enemies that have single target attacks or single target skills to attack her in the next turns instead of her allies. And when that happens, she's gonna fire back, not even waiting a turn or something like that. It's immediately. It's a movement out of turn. She's gonna immediately throw a laser that is gonna be able to dispel up to 4 buffs from the enemy, and also it's gonna reduce 30% the turn meter, and also it's gonna stun the enemy with the highest attack on the enemy team. That's a lot because the ultimate is giving you a ton of effects that other characters can get only if they work in like a team of 2 or 3. This gives you a lot of advantages, a lot of disadvantages to the enemy, and also gives you a free use of the second skill right after she gets attacked. So you have a free stun as well on the enemy with highest attack and so. This is broken, like really, really broken. Every upgrade on the stars on the arc light is really good. The skills are broken. You have stun. You have these spells of the enemies to take away their advantages, their buffs. You have an increase in defense for everyone, a decrease of defense for all the enemies. You have shield wall to force the enemies to attack the tank and not any other character on your team. You also have a stun. You have an extra layer of protection on everyone on your team when she's 6 stars. And looking at the stats, you can see that she's also very resilient and very fast. That is very important because this character can work for you to get the first turn or the second one. Now I'm gonna go with the relics. As you can see, I have the Sterling set on this character. The game recommends you as your first option the warrior, as your second option the red dragon set, and the third option the sterling one. I'm gonna talk very quickly about the first two options, and then I'm gonna explain more why I choose why I recommend the third option. Uh, Warrior set increases your physical defense up to an extra 15% and reduces the damage taken by 10% when she takes damage. That 10% can be converted into 18% if she has a sparkle set. That means every relic is prismatic and can be triggered only once per round. The reason I don't choose this as the main recommendation is because that bonus of 18% less damage can be only triggered once per round, and is how do I tell you? It's not that big of a deal. The upgrade is not really that good. I will even argue that the Red Dragon set is better. Is the Red Dragon can give you an increase of 10 up to a 15% extra HP. Yet this character benefits more from defense than HP. That is true, but the effect is better. The effects grants between a 10 to a 20% depending if you have a sparkle set or not. Let's say you have it, it will give you a 20% chance to reduce the cooldown of a random skill by one round when you're taking damage. This also can be triggered only once per round, but it's more useful because more uh, it's more of help to you or your team or your strategy to get any of the skills. It could be the second one, the laser beam, or the ultimate, the boom cannon. It's more useful to get them one round earlier than usual than to receive a little bit of less damage in a single turn. This means that when your tank gets hit by the enemy, has a chance to get one of the skills faster. That means you can get one stun before the enemy thinks you're gonna have it, or you can have the ultimate that gives you all of the advantages that we already said. Well, I already said. So I would say the Red Dragon is the second best, but the best will be the Sterling set. This one increases in case you have a Sparkle set your defense by a 15%. This is what the character wants the most. The, this is the best stat on the character, the physical defense. This set increases it. And the effect is in case that you have a Sparkle set, you will have your character that has the set, in this case is the tank, is gonna give a defense boost of the 7.5% of his defense to all the team and cannot be stuck with similar set bonuses. That means that you cannot have like two tanks and the two tanks with Sterling set. Only one is gonna be used. But this can be combined with the passive skill of this character, because this character is adding 30% of her defense to the defense of all of her allies. And if you have her at 6 stars, her defense is also gonna be like a layer of protection to all incoming damage from the enemy team. Combine that, everything about her passive is increasing the defense of her team. Combine that with the sparkling set, the sparkle sterling set, that also is gonna increase all allies' defense by 7.5% of the wearer's defense, in this case of Hamusuke, and cannot be stacked with another Sterling set. So if you put this on her, everyone on your team is gonna have 30% more defense by her passive. Let's say you don't have her at 6 stars because it's hard. So you only have that, the extra 30%, well, you can add an extra 7.5. Doesn't sound like a lot compared to her passive, I know, but the more defense you get, remember, is the more damage that she's gonna do with her ultimate and the laser, and it's also the more damage that she's gonna add when the allies of her team use skills to damage the enemy, and the more defense is also the more true damage that she's gonna deal to the enemies when they attack her with because of her arc light. So this upgrades everything. The more defense you have increases the damage that the arc light is gonna be dealing, increases the damage that all of her skills are gonna do, increases the defense that she's gonna give to all of her team, and this set also gives an extra defense. So it's like a mini buff to all of her skill set. That's why I think the Sterling set is the best of her. Now the sub attributes, I must say, I have this character over 30k combat power. That is nice, yes, but it's not the most optimal if you want to go to the hardest challenges of the game, like the Realm of Shadows or the PvP against pay-to-win players. But 30k combat power is very good, honestly. So I say that because I don't have the best relics on her. I put the set with whatever I could find that would benefit her, but not really the best. As you can see here, has A on effect resistance. That is useless because she is basically immune to defense down and the damage over time. The effect resistance is only gonna help her to not get stunned or not get into a debuff like defense down. Speed down or attack down, something like that. So yeah, effect resistance is basically useless because usually when the enemy is gonna stun your tank or something like that, it's because it's a fixed chance and not a basic chance. So effect resistance cannot do anything there. B on attack, that is useless on this character, honestly. B on magical defense is not bad, but it's not what you should prioritize. And A on defense, I have this Sterling Crown only because I don't have better relics in the crown. Like for example, here this is good for the speed, but only because of that, because it has less defense. As you can see, others give crit, critical damage, and speed, damage boost, crit, speed, and crit. Like I don't have a good Sterling Crown. That's why I have that one equipped. Sterling Greatsword. This is way better. Like for example, B on HP. Okay, B is not really good, but at least it's something, because this character also benefits from having more health points because it's a tank. Your tank can have 10k of defense, but if it only has 10 HP, it's useless. So yeah, it's not bad having HP. Has A on crit, useless. This tank doesn't need to crit. It's not a crit based character or something like that. It's a tank. Oh, of course, if you can crit on the ultimate of this character, it's gonna be very nice, because it's basically a nuke. But don't try to force crit into a tank like this. I have this Sterling Greatsword because of the other two stats. S on defense, the best stat or the best attribute on S rank. Like it's everything you should be giving to this character. And S on effect precision. That's only to help a little bit the character with the effects that it puts. Like it has 100% chance of putting the stun, of dispelling the buffs, or putting the defense down on the enemy, the high tier defense down on the enemy, and so yeah. But if the enemy has a lot of effect resistance, they could resist that effect. So the effect precision here is to help a little bit this character to have more chance of effectively debuffing the enemy. So yeah, this is not a bad example, I will say. Also, the Sterling based is a little bad. A on crit, like I already say, is not needed. C on speed, that is really bad because it's the lowest rank possible. As you can see, I have other relics, but those are for attack, like attack, critical damage, crit, and so I don't really have a very good Sterling base to show you. Like, for example, now, at least not in rank, but in attributes or sub attributes, at least it's a nice example. B on magical defense, not bad because the character has A on magical defense, so she needs a little bit of help there to be able to withstand magical damage teams like a victim team. And the main reason I have this relic on is S on HP, and because I don't have really uh, a very nice Sterling base for this character. And I don't have a Sterling armor on her, I have a champion armor. Why? Because it gives effect precision, I already say why it's good. It gives A on speed, this character has S on speed, so you need speed, and S on defense. As you can see, I have other relics that I enhance, but are like crit damage boost, and so are more offensive relics. I don't have a lot of Sterling defensive sets to be able to give this character the best or the most optimal possible, but this is not a bad example at all. I have from other sets examples that I could give you. For the first one is on my Sisita or Shizu. This is a red dragon set. The other one that I say that is the recommended one. For example, this won't be bad. Like speed and HP. This speed and defense, magical defense because she benefits more from magical defense. This as well. This will be a really good one. Like HP, defense, speed. That is what this character wants. The one that we're doing the guide. This one as well is on speed, A on effect precision, and so. And I have other tanks like this. Has speed. It has speed, HP, effect precision, defense, more effect precision, more defense, more HP, more speed, more defense. Like that is what you want. Like for example, take this Crimson Dress as an example. If you can give these four stats to your tank, your Hamusuke tank, you're good to go. Like defense, HP, effect precision, and speed. Yeah, you should give those. I would say your order of priority should be first the defense, then the speed as your second place. Your third option will be HP, and last effect precision. Why? Very easily. Uh, your main concern should be defense because everything about this character scales with defense, as I already said. Your second priority should be speed because this character has S on speed, so it needs to be fast because this character is meant to have one of the first turns of the entire match. It's meant to be like between 1 to 3rd place out of the 8 places in the turn meter line, because you will need to have the debuffs that this character puts on the enemy's defenses from the very get-go, so you can immediately start throwing your hardest attacks, your heavy hits, and so you can burst or delete, if not the entire enemy team, at least one priority target. So you need the defense because everything scales with that. Speed because this is a speed character. You need it to be fast. So you can constantly have turns with the character, and it doesn't get thrown back by something like Seshi that can constantly stun someone and put speed down to make the enemy slow so it never has a turn. Your third option should be HP. Why? Should be HP because it's the second or the third thing that scales the most with the character. You need the HP because remember, if you have a tank that doesn't have any HP, it doesn't matter the amount of defense that you have on your character. Like the moment that defense gets surpassed by something like the true damage or something that does percentage health base damage, then you're screwed. So you need HP alongside your defenses and effect precision to help a little bit your character to put the disadvantages that are on the debuffs on the enemy. That's why I will say that first place defense, second place speed, third place HP, fourth place effect precision. Now the enhancements. This character is a very good example for the enhancements. I will recommend you at least one level of one hit kill. I know this is an offensive enhancement, usually meant for mages and so, but this character deals a lot of damage. Honestly, when you see it throw an ultimate, it deals a lot of damage, and it's area of effect. So this enhancement directly influences that. Endless Cycle is another one I recommend. Increases your HP by a flat amount each level, each level, and at level 6 increases the HP by a percentage. I already said why HP is good, so yeah, I'm gonna go to the next. Unerring Shot, more effect precision, and if you can get it to a high level, it also is gonna give you a lot of effect precision and speed. So if you can get this enhancement to level 6 or more, you may not need effect precision in your relic sub attributes. You can compensate it with enhancements. And instead of effect precision, you can put another thing like magical defense, or if you want something crazy like crit, you can. So I would say one hit kill, endless cycle, unerring shot as one of the other options. If you can have where it is. I don't have it here. It's another character. Yeah, this one. Fortitude damage. This increases your defense by a flat amount, and from level 6 to level 10 also increases your defense in a percentage. I would say then try to prioritize fortitude damage as your main enhancement, then endless cycle for more HP, then unerring shot, so you get more effect precision and more speed to your character. And if you can give you the pleasure of giving the character a one hit kill to increase the ultimate damage, give her a one hit kill. This one is one hit kill. Endless cycle, remember, is always good. And let me find here. That will be my main recommendations. You have 4 sub attributes on the relics to be able to max 3 set options that I told you, and a lot of the enhancements. Also, the awakening levels. As you can see, I only have her at level 15, but I believe the ones that I have here are the right ones. The first gem and the fourth gem compare the same, share the same slot, the same form. So the square gems go there. I will tell you that the most effective one is the energy gem defense, the one that increases the defense in percentage, in both the first gem and the slot at level 20. So you increase the best stat of the character already. This one, the round gem, the red ones, it also shares the same mod in the level 25, so it's the same. Increase more defense. If you don't like increasing more defense, like why should I should increase a single thing only, you could put this one, the Mighty Gem critical damage resistance. Why? Because this is a meta character. This is a character that is popular and everyone is using in high level, and so that means that this character is constantly against enemies like Victim, Seshi, another Hamusuke, Tank Cicidas, as well as Anniversary Albedo and Mate Albedo, for example. All of those characters or deal critical damage or benefit from doing critical damage, or benefit others when they do critical damage. So this character is gonna face a lot of foes that do critical damage, things like Momon, for example. So if you can increase the critical damage resistance of the character, it's gonna help you a lot, because critical damage is still physical damage. So you can increase that, it's indirectly gonna help you withstand more damage from physical damage enemy teams. The rare slots, the one of level 15, I will say either more defense, or if you don't have gems to increase the defense, or don't want to use more of defense because you want to save it for another character or so, whatever you have, like HP, it will be good there. Level 20 and 25 repeat the same first two. Level 30, whatever you have. I will say this one. No, this one, the power gem HP. If you don't like the HP, you can put the one of defense. But the specialized tank gem, this one, do not put it on her. I know the game marks it as the specialized gem and it gives you reduction to the damage over time. But remember, you don't need to reduce the damage over time, because this character at 4 stars becomes immune to that kind of damage. So don't commit that mistake. Now that I have covered that, we can take a basic look at the basic attributes. Remember, first defense, then the speed, number 3 is gonna be HP, and 10 a little bit of effect precision. Now, the compositions for this character. First off, I will tell you the meta team is Anniversary Albedo, this one right here. He is probably the best healer in the entire game. Then this one, the not dead no life character Seshi, the overrated character, probably the most overrated character in the entire franchise. No hate, but it's true. And either it's gonna be your number 4 victim, this little guy right here, or Sisita, this one, the tank version. Those are the meta teams, because Seshi and Big Team do a ton of damage and critical damage that also stun the enemy. Sisita can be there to increase victim damage indirectly because he does magical damage, and Sisita lowers the enemy magical defense. You can combine those two tanks and those two damage dealers. You're gonna have a ton of damage, either magical or physical, and a lot of defense, physical and magical, because of the tanks, the specialized tanks. But if you don't want, for example, you don't want Sisita, you want Big Team Seshi, this tank Hamusuke, because you want to maximize damage, then you put Albedo, the anniversary version, because she increases the max amount of critical damage that someone can do with her ultimate. She also has 2 invulnerabilities, and she also has 1 indomitable. Someone will survive at 1 HP when she ults. So you have literally multiple ways to keep your damage dealers alive with Albedo. Plus, this tank is gonna give you a lot of defense, a lot of debuff from the enemy, and with that you maximize damage. You will have 2 slow characters that is gonna be Albedo and Victim, and 2 fast characters that is gonna be Seshi and Hamusuke. Other teams that you can use, one that is not very used, but you can if you are like low or medium level and don't have things like Seshi, is a counter team. For example, Momon, this one right here. Especially if you have something like this Arclight that increases the critical, the counter rate and the counter damage. This Kokyotos that almost all new players got instantly or automatically get a banner of this character and Yuri. You can combine those two. Maybe the SSR Yuri that comes with that Kokyotos, this one. You can combine them and Hamusuke. Hamusuke only will be there to lower the enemy defense and sometimes stun someone, and the rest of the characters will kill the enemies with the counters. If you want an even cheaper team that can be counter team, Gasev, this one right here, the one that doesn't have a brain, this one, and you can add something like Nigel that is not a counter member, a counter team member, but is a special healer. Like it adds an extra NPC on your team that can follow up attacks and heals based on the attacks that the extra NPC does. So that's like a cheap one. Another one that you can use is a full critical damage one. You can add, for example, this guy that does yeah, does more critical damage and has increased critical damage with the passive. And you can get this character through the arena rewards. You can use that guy, or you can use this Nave. She does more damage to low HP enemies or enemies that have shock. But she's all based on critical damage. You can also add on that same team. Let me find this Lupus Regina. You can combine a bleed team like this Lupus Regina and normal Kokiotos as your bleed team characters. Then this Hamusuke and any support that you want, or any support that you have, even in case you don't have a lot of characters. You have the support and this Hamusuke this tank to lower the enemy defense. Then the bleed members will put bleed, will trigger it, and because the enemies have lower defense, bleed is gonna hit harder. So you can combine this character with the ones that she counters. It's a little bit funny, but you can do it. Also, oh yeah, a full crit team I was saying as well. The other guy of the Slain Theocracy says she's also a full crit based character. Everything about her is speed and crit. So she can be also there. And for example, Maid Albedo, this one. Even this version of Entoma. You will only need to give her a little bit of crit, and the extra crit that she obtains during battle, it's enough to get her to 100%. So you can have a crit team where you try to get the first turn with something like Hamusuke or Seshi. So you lower the enemy defense, you put damage aggravation with Ain's third active skill, then the enemy is gonna have 40% lower defense. Then they're gonna take the extra 30% amplified damage for the damage aggravation from Ain's third skill, and then you throw the critical damage skills from your damage dealers. It can be Seshi, can be Entoma, it can be Albedo, it can be the guys from this Slain Theocracy, and you're gonna destroy. That team is meant to kill the enemy team in 2 or 3 rounds. Like you won't take more than 2 turns on each character to destroy the enemy. Even if they have something like Kokyutos or Valkyrie Shelter that are very, very good tanks at at both surviving themselves and making their allies survive by indomitable buffs or the damage sharing and the healing that Valkyrie Shelter provides. And also an assist team can be there. The assist teams are almost never seen because we have just a few characters for that composition. We don't have a lot, but we have some. Nigredo is there. Nigredo is one of them. She does critical damage, she does assist, and she does physical damage. Everything combines with that Hamusuke. This Albedo, the one I already told you, the SSR, Entoma. This Entoma, the SSR Entoma, she does also physical damage. She puts bleed, so she does bleed damage. Well, she makes extra damage with bleed, and she does critical damage. This Albedo, Maid Albedo, also does physical damage, crit damage, and the thing in common between this Albedo, Entoma, and Nigredo is that all of them can do assist. Nigredo increases her own assist rate after her second skill, and she can naturally do assist when an ally is doing damage to an enemy that has gaze, a specific debuff that she puts on them. This Entoma can do an assist naturally, randomly, like she can just suddenly decide to assist you in battle, and then you get extra damage. Or Maid Albedo, she increases her own assist rate after using her second skill and will throw guarantee assist in your next two attacks after her turn. And each time that she does an assist, she gains an increase on her own damage for her next skill. So you can use them. And also the Anniversary Albedo, she doesn't do any assist, but she gives a lot of survivability to your team and increases the damage of everyone. And also she offers purifies that is very valuable nowadays. So you have an assist team. You can use Nigredo, SSR Entoma, Mate Albedo, or normal Aura. This one. She does more chase than assist, but you can combine them and there's no problem. And you can even put the original Hamusuke, this one, because when she attacks and does the second skill, the wild headbutt, she invites to launch an assist to the ally with the highest attack. Also Sebas. Sebas can do some assist. In low levels, in case that you have this tank, this Hamusuke, but I don't think any low level is gonna get it. You can combine a Pleiades team with Hamusuke or a Pleiades with Sebas, because Sebas will throw assist on the attacks that the Pleiades do. Pleiades are these girls. They are the Pleiades. You can combine them with Sebas and Hamusuke. Hamusuke lowers everyone's defense, the Pleiades attack, Sebas makes some assist, and you do damage out of turn to kill the enemy faster. But I don't. On high level, it's not very useful, and on low level, I don't think some new player is gonna have this Hamusuke and the Pleiades at the same time. He's gonna have the Pleiades, yes, but not Hamusuke. So yeah, you have a counter team. You also have a full critical damage team. You also have the meta team that is kind of like the speed or the speed team, because Seshi, Sisita, and Hamusuke are the uh, characters that have S on the speed, as you can see. Well, not when it loads. You have Sisita with S on speed, you have Hamusuke with S, and you have Seshi with S as well. So you can have a counter team, a critical damage team, a speed team, an assist team, and even a counter team. And if you want to be a little bit dumb, well, the speed team is also the meta team. You just put big team there and it becomes the meta team, or Albedo. You can also make a full tank team in case you want to fool around. Like, that is not the recommended to win, but if you want to have like an immortal team and so, you can put Valkyrie Shelter, Tank Kokyutos, the one with the gold ornaments, Tank Albedo, this one, and Hamusuke. That team will have healing because of Shelter, and anyone that has a champion armor. They will have increased damage on basic attacks because of Kokyutos, and increased counter rate because of him as well, alongside some shields. Albedo is gonna provide shields to everyone. She offers control on the enemy with the taunt. She can counter. She can do she can do damage and put in a debuff of attack down on the enemy, so it lowers the enemy damage. Shelter is gonna offer damage sharing, so everyone takes less damage than usual while she's with 50% or more of her own HP. She also can revive. Kokyutos offers an indomitable, like in a turn that you're gonna die, indomitable pops and you survive with 1 HP for an entire round. CCT is also tank, he gives buff to everyone and at the start of each action, and Hamusuke already said why. So you decide, you have a lot of freedom. You have multiple ways of doing that. And next video I'm gonna be showing you the character and some compositions here on the arena and this mode, fighting whatever I found here. Like for example, here is almost a full shelter team. I could put the speed team and destroy them, but you decide what you want to use, and also what do you have to use with this character. So the strategy, I will say, no matter what composition you are, Hamusuke is gonna be always between the first two places to play, or the majority of cases, it's gonna be like that. And you only have to take into consideration one of two things. If you want to burst the enemy, and you see that you can burst the enemy, like you see that all the enemy composition is like fragile ranger or mage characters, throw the ultimate. So you do damage, lower everyone's defense, and destroy them with your damage dealers. But if you see that the enemy has a very beefy or resistant team, very tanky, or they have very annoying characters that are able to prolong the fight more than you would like, someone like Seshi that can constantly stun you so the game goes longer, or Sisita that also is gonna be healing and putting shields so everyone survives, or either Tiz Shalter or Kokyutos or Albedo that are very good at forcing the enemy damage uh, to be less than usual, because Albedo is gonna put attack down, Kokyutos is gonna be giving shields, Shalter is gonna be giving heals, and so you see those kind of characters that you see in a very annoying way towards your composition, like, oh, I don't want, or you see, there's a Pestonia, I don't want to face a Pestonia because she's gonna be giving turn meter to someone else, I don't know, to an Entoma, and she's gonna be able to do a lot of damage, and I don't want her to refresh her ultimate. In those cases where you don't want to rush the fight, or you see that you're not able to burst the entire enemy team, then instead of the ultimate, you first throw the stun to your priority target. Like, if you see that all of your team can kill the enemy team fast, ultimate. If not, and you can only kill one or get near or close to killing one, use the second skill, because the second skill is gonna stun that enemy so it doesn't have a turn to defend itself or to heal or something like that. That is the entire thing about this character. Be fast, have a lot of defense, and decide I wanna burst the entire enemy team, or I wanna burst a single enemy target, because I cannot allow, or I cannot afford me to throw all my skills at the start without knowing if I can kill them or not, because they have a lot of shields or something like that. So yeah, that's about it. Next video is gonna be about the practical use of the character. Literally, it's gonna be a little compilation of me fighting in the arena using that character with different compositions, like at least one fight with each composition that I told you. Um, and yeah, that's all. Thanks for hearing my awful voice, even more awful than usual because I'm sick right now. But yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for hearing.